Hey YouTubers, what's up? It's me, yours truly, back to post a quick response video to Aldi's new thread video. He had about 8 or so kind of nice, simple, quick questions here that I thought I would jump in and answer really quick. Question number 1, what skills have you developed over the years in terms of judging the condition of a used record on the spot, and what's your success rate of making an accurate evaluation of the condition? I don't know if there's necessarily specific skills. I think, like a lot of things, just over the course of time, as you do something more and more, you start to just get a feel for what to look for. I think one thing that I do is, let's say I pull a record out and I'm looking at it and it looks, a little bit dirty and whatnot, and of course you don't have your cleaning stuff there, and you can't really tell if it's just surface dust or if it might be stuff that's actually embedded in the vinyl that's going to cause all the crackles and pops and everything. Well, there's 2 things I'll do. Number 1, I'll take my finger and rub it like continuously over one spot to see how much the dust pattern changes. If it completely changes and even clears up to some degree, then I always think it's something that can simply just needs to be cleaned. But if you see a number of spots that just aren't really shifting and aren't really changing around, then that gives me the impression that it's more embedded in the vinyl, which is probably going to give off a worse sound. So that's one thing that I do, is I physically touch the vinyl itself and kind of play with one spot on the surface a bit if there's the presence of a lot of dust. Something else I'll do is, if I pull out a vinyl, I see it's in that same condition, I'll also judge it by the condition of the insert and the vinyl, and the cover. Because again, I think if someone's had a record for 10 years or whatever, and they've kept really good care of the cover and really good care of the insert, in all likelihood the vinyl was probably fairly well taken care of as well, and it just has some dust from storage or whatever, so I'll use that to judge as well. But really, for the most part, I've gotten so picky with the records that I'm willing to bring home, as far as things that I'm not taking a chance on. I may find something in a 50-cent bin or a $1 bin, and it'll look rough, and I'll buy it just to say, hey, if it cleans up, great, I'll keep it. If not, it may become a decoration on my wall, or really, who cares about it? So my success rate is pretty good as far as bringing vinyl in. When I'm buying stuff on eBay, as far as my success rate there with getting good stuff in, I never just go with the very good plus or whatever. Every single time I get ready to bid on an album, I will email that seller first and say, I saw your auction, I'm interested in this record, I know you said it's in near mint or very good plus condition. Are there any bends whatsoever, any fading, any ring wear, any crackles or pops when it plays, or any skips throughout the entire record? Now, I'll ask those very specific questions, and I think that's also helped a lot on eBay in terms of not getting any bad stuff in. But really, I've only had 2 records that I bought really thinking, I'm so glad I found this, and it turned out they were kind of in bad condition. One was Darwin's Mac the Knife. I found one, looked really good, paid about $15 for it, and it ended up being very poppy and everything else. And then a copy of David Bowie's Young Americans. Same thing, looked very clean, brought it home, a lot of crackles and pops, and I got rid of both of those. But outside of that, I've had, especially over the last couple years where I've really been collecting, I have a pretty high success rate in bringing clean stuff in. So anyway, question number 2, do deletion holes in album covers bother you? Totally depends on the album. If it's a filler album, so to speak, what I mean by that is, an album that I really want, but it's a $1 bin album, it's maybe a $5 album, maybe a $10 album, something like that. No, as long as they don't really destroy the integrity of the cover itself. There's still a hole down here or a little insert cut or whatever over here. That doesn't bother me that much. Collectible stuff that I'm really searching for and been looking for a long time and all of that type of thing, yeah, I'm a lot more picky, and I'm not as willing to accept cutouts and holes and things like that. 45s, are you pro small or pro large? I'm a hole, that is. With 45s, I'm pro large hole, even though they're a little more of a pain to do the switch and everything. But just like I'm kind of anti-picture disc is because to me a 33-inch vinyl record should be a nice thick 180-gram record that's black. To me, that's what a vinyl record is. So a 45 is a black record with a big hole. That's a 45 to me. But I mean, I do have a number of small holes. I don't walk away from them, but I do prefer the large hole. 78s, how many of you broken, learning to manipulate them? Never have, because I don't collect 78s, never owned any. In your country, which labels made the best vinyl and who made the worst? I'm not really up on that. I don't follow the labels to that degree. The only thing I can say is I can remember playing a John Coltrane album on a Blue Note. No, I'm sorry, not Coltrane. God, I'm going totally brain dead again. Herbie Hancock on a Blue Note. I was playing a Bo Diddley album about a month or so ago on Checkers, and I have a couple chess records too. And every time I play those three, I always notice the vinyl. You know, I notice the weight of it. I notice just how good it sounds. It could just be the artist too. But those are the only labels that have ever jumped out in my mind where I take notice of that when I actually play them. So that's about as much as I can give on next. I'm not a big label guy. My main thing is condition, warps, you know, scratches, scuffs. That's really what I pay attention to. Question 6, do you or can you read grooves? And in what you were describing, I understand what you're saying, and I can see those in records. Do I ever read them to make judgments or really pay attention to it? I mean, no, not at all. Tell us about the worst decision you ever made while shopping for records, or either leaving behind a record that you regret not buying. That worst decision would probably be, I was at a record show. I went to this one table as soon as I got there, and they had this copy of this record I really wanted. It was kind of high priced, but it was still fair, but I didn't want to just walk right in and blow a big chunk of my money on that. So I went and shopped around for about 45 minutes and decided I'm going to go back and get that. Went back to the table and it wasn't there. And it was a copy of Jimi Hendrix' Electric Ladyland with the women on the front cover. So I do regret not picking that one up. And the last question number 8, show us your favorite record for children. Pretty simple. I've actually shown this in a number of other videos. Oh Good Grief, good old Charlie Brown, was my favorite song from that whole series, being Linus and Lucy. And that's probably my favorite children's record. Honorable mentions would be the Archies. I have a record from that old, cartoon, and then the Muppet Movie. That's also kind of a good. And I have a lot of funny soundtracks too. I'm not sure if they're classified as children's soundtracks, but like Popeye the Sailor. I have that soundtrack, which I like a lot too. But anyway, so those are my quick answers. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and as always, I will see you soon.